The humid Australian heat sticks to your skin, but it's the sound that haunts you. 20,000 pairs of powerful legs thundering against the sun-baked earth. You squeeze the trigger of a Lewis gun, the metal burning your hands. Yet the feathered tide doesn't break. This isn't war. This is a massacre of logistics. And the most shocking part? The humans lost. Our story begins right after World War I. Thousands of Australian soldiers returned home, and many were given land in Western Australia to farm wheat. But a severe drought pushed conditions to breaking point, and then arrived the real enemy. Over 20,000 emus, driven off their normal migration route and straight into the wheat fields. These birds weren't just eating the crops. For every plant they consumed, their feet trampled 100 more. The real threat wasn't their appetite, it was their footsteps. Many of these farmers were ex-soldiers themselves. They petitioned Defense Minister Sir George Pearce for machine guns because they knew exactly how effective those weapons could be. In November 1932, 3 members of the 7th Heavy Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery were deployed to the Campion district. Major G.P.W.B. Meredith in command, along with Sergeant McMurray and Gunner O'Halloran. They carried 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. A propaganda film crew from Fox Movetone tagged along. The government wanted this victory captured on camera for the struggling farmers to see. Everyone was confident. After all, these were just primitive, flightless birds. What chance did they stand against machine guns? November 2nd. Around 50 emus were spotted. Locals tried to herd them toward an ambush, but the emus had other plans. They scattered in every direction, instantly becoming almost impossible targets. November 4th. This day was supposed to be decisive. Over 1,000 emus were heading toward a dam. The soldiers waited patiently until the birds were at point-blank range. They opened fire, and then one gun jammed after killing just 12 birds. The rest of the flock escaped. Meredith also discovered something unsettling. Emus could easily survive a single bullet wound and keep running long before succumbing to it. Each group even seemed to post a lookout bird that would signal danger to the rest. In a desperate move, the soldiers mounted a Lewis gun on the back of a truck, but the terrain was too rough. The truck couldn't match the emu's speed, and the gunner couldn't even aim properly on the bumpy ride. By November 8th, just 6 days in, 2,500 rounds had been fired, but only a handful of emus were confirmed dead. An embarrassed Sir George Pearce withdrew the troops. The Australian Parliament mocked the entire operation, but the story doesn't end there. Farmers pleaded again, and Meredith returned on November 13th, this time with a smarter strategy. His men set up ambushes near water sources, since the drought had left the emus desperate for water. This tactic worked. By December, they were killing around 100 emus a week, and when the operation officially ended on December 10, 1932, the reported total stood at 986 birds. Still, against a population of 20,000, that was barely a dent, which is exactly why history remembers this as the birds winning. And when farmers asked for military help again in 1934, 1948, and 1949, the government refused every time. Instead, they introduced a bounty system, which turned out to be far more effective. Over 57,000 bounties were claimed in just 6 months in 1934. So that's the story of how a modern army with machine guns, trained soldiers, and unlimited ammunition lost to flightless birds. This wasn't just a funny footnote in history. It became a permanent embarrassment for military planning at the time. Now tell me, if you were in Major Meredith's shoes, what would you have done differently? Drop a comment below. Are you Team Emu or Team Army? And if you enjoyed this story, hit subscribe because we bring you jaw-dropping history like this every week.